Namacharya Shri Bhakta Started. Prem se Prabhu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Gaura Bhaktavan Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopakupina Shama Kundrada Kuntil Gavadam Shri Vrindavan Maya Pradhan Ki Ganga Maya Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki All glories to the Assembly Today. All glories to the Assembly Today. All glories to the Assembly Today. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudevani Nastapraesho Bhaktaesho Nityam Bhakta Sevana Bhagavati Uttama-shloki Bhakti Bhavati Naishti Tadavatastamu Bhava Kamalobhadayaschayi Chetayetayanadikam Skitam Sattam Vasidati Evam Tasamanaso Bhagavad-bhakti Yogata Bhagavad-tattva-vidyanam Muktasandasya Jayate Pratyate Hridaya Kantaschityante Savasamsaya Kshiyante Chasya Kamani Krishna Evatmanishvari Shuklam Panna Vichara Sada Parama Adyam Jagadyapini Veena Pustakadharini Mamayana Jatyandakara Haste Bhakti-kamadikam-vritapati Padma-sahe samstitam Vande Kantarameshwarim Bhagavati Bhakti-vedanta From the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 4, chapter 31, text number 7. Kanna Padyatma Kanna Padyatma Jnanam Tattva Tadasanam Yenanja Satavishyamo Duskaram Bhavasagaram Kanna Padyatma Jnanam Tattva Tadasanam Yenanja Satavishyamo Duskaram Bhavasagaram Kanna Padyatma Jnanam Tattva Tadasanam Adhyatma, transcendental. Jnanam, knowledge. Tattva, absolute truth. Artha, for the purpose of. Darshanam, philosophy. Yena, by which. Anjasa, easily. Karishyamaha, we can cross over. Duskaram, formidable. Bhavasagaram, the ocean of nescience. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Dear Master, kindly enlighten us in transcendental knowledge, which may act as a torchlight by which we may cross the dark nescience of material existence. Purport. The Prachetas requested Narad to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. Generally, when a common man meets a saintly person, he wishes to get some material benediction. However, the Prachetas were not interested in material benefit, for they had enjoyed all this sufficiently, nor did they want the fulfillment of their material desires. They were simply interested in crossing the ocean of nescience. Everyone should be interested in getting out of the material clutches. Everyone should approach a saintly person in order to be enlightened in this connection. One should not bother a saintly person to get blessings from material enjoyment. Generally, a householder receives saintly persons to get their blessings, but their real aim is to become happy in the material world. Asking such material benedictions is not recommended in the Shastra. Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Chaitanya manophistam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupagadamayan tadati svaparankitam vandeham shri guru shri padakamalam shri vaishnavam cha shri rupam sakatatam sahagana raghunatam tam sajivam sathekam savadutam pavajana sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jarakpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Bhakta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Namami Hari Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Maharaj unfortunately doesn't give the class, so you have to cope with me. So here, in this shloka, it is explained that the Prachetas now they are actually asking Narad Muni that he will enlighten them. Because in the previous verse, the Prachetas, it was explained they were taking like a humble position. Like they are putting themselves in a position where they were saying that we are attached to household life. Tat griheshu prasaktanam, we were engaged in materialistic affairs. Brayasa kshapitam prabhu, and we almost forgot the instructions of Narad Muni and like Shiva, and like they were bewildered actually. But actually it was not the case. This was just their humbleness. They are actually showing us the way how to receive transcendental knowledge. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also says, Amanitvam madamritvam ahimsa kanti ajavam, that to receive transcendental knowledge, the first qualification is that we must be humble. But this age is called Damba Yuga. The Damba means pride. In this age, everyone is proud. And therefore it is very difficult actually to receive transcendental knowledge. So therefore the Prachetas, they are showing us to the Srimad Bhagavatam how to actually gain transcendental knowledge. We have to become very humble. And then we get the blessings in the form of the instructions. So the Prachetas, they are saying here that Jnanam Tattvata Darshanam, that please enlighten us in Jnanam, which is Tattvata Darshanam, means it is for the purpose of seeing the absolute truth. Tattva means absolute truth, and Darshana means to see. So Jnanam is actually so that we can see in this material world. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also, he says, Vimuda nanu pashyanti, pashyanti jnana chakshusha. The Vimudas, those who don't have any knowledge of the Shastra, na anupashyati, they cannot see what is going on in this world. They are basically blind. Pashyanti jnana chakshusha, and those who have jnana chakshu, the vision of knowledge, they can actually see what is going on in the world. Krishna says, Utkamantam stitam vapi gunjanam va gunanvitam, that those who have proper knowledge can see how the soul, stitvam, is situated in this body, Utkamantam, how it gives up this body, gunjanam va gunanvitam, how it is affected by the three modes of material nature. Those who have proper vision can see that some human beings, they are in the sattva gun, affected by sattva gun, some are by raja gun, and some are by tattva, by tama gun. So in this way, the knowledge actually helps us to see. Krishna also says, Jnana dipena bhaskata, that knowledge is just like a torchlight. With the help of knowledge, we can actually lighten up this age of Kali. It is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, Kalau nashtat rasham esha, that this kalau means saptami vibhakti. In this age of Kali, nastat rasham means the vision, the proper vision of the people in this age is nashta, is destroyed. So they cannot actually see what is the aim of life, and they are always engaged in materialistic affairs. And the Prachetas here, they are putting themselves in this position of an ordinary man, saying that Takriheshu prasaktanam, we were so engaged or so attached to materialistic activities, Vayasak Shabitam Prabhu, that we are almost forgot the instructions we received from Lord Shiva and other saintly persons. So this is explained by the Srimad Bhagavatam that Kamatma Kamyena Sharira Bandha, that when we engage in materialistic activities, then we become actually blinded by the fruitive mentality. And Sharira Bandha, this causes us to be bound to this body. You can follow on through philosophical. So the Sharira Bandha, this Sharira, this body, we are Bandha, we are bound to this body because Kamatmakam, we are colored by fruitive activities. Just like, some people, they have rosa glasses on, like, what rosa glasses is, or maybe blue glasses. They put these glasses on and they see the whole world through these glasses. So they see everything blue or rosa on a different color. So in a similar way, our mentality is Kamatmakam. Kamatmakam means the mind is covered by fruitive mentality. And that causes us, Sharira Bandha, to be bound by this body. So that is actually what happens. And therefore we cannot actually take the instructions very seriously. But when we have the association of sadhus, they help us to come to the point of understanding. So when we are engaged in materialistic activities, we become blinded by Maya. And even great sages, sometimes it happens. Like, one time Narad Muni, Narad Muni is very exalted, Deva Rishi, the demigod, the Rishi of the demigods. But one time he wanted to see what is Maya. He asked Lord Vishnu. So then Lord Vishnu said, no, it's better you ask another question because this is not a good, this will be very troublesome for you. And then Narad Muni said, no, I want to, see like Maya. And then Lord Krishna, he said, okay, he was sitting under the tree and he said, this will take a very long time to be explained. So you bring me a glass of water, fresh water. And Narad Muni went to the river And when he came to the river, he wanted to like with hands, he wanted to drink the water. And there was a man, and he said, "How? Please don't drink like this. Please come to my home, and I will give you a cup, and then you can." He wanted to give, because Narad Muni is a sadhu, so he wanted to receive the sadhu at his home to get some spiritual benefit. So then Narad Muni came to his house, and then he entered. Then the man said, "I also want to give you some food, but at the moment we don't have anything available." So then he said, "I will go to the market, and at the meantime, my daughter will take care of you." So then the man, he went to the market to get some foodstuffs, and the daughter was serving Muni, and they were exchanging, and suddenly something in his heart came up, some desire, and suddenly they were...
Sorry for interrupting there. I think of Mr. microphone. Nobody can hear it.
Oh,
It's usually now there's 4 people watching, and later there will be 50 devotees or so who want to there's no sound.
Start again, so maybe explain. So, yes. So here the Prachetas actually, they are showing us the way to receive transcendental knowledge. They are, like we shortly will summarize again. So they went to Narad Muni when Narad Muni came, and they were putting themselves in a very humble position. They were saying that we are attached to materialistic activities previously, and therefore we forgot the instructions of Lord Shiva, and we became bewildered on our path to the spiritual elevation. So in this way, they wanted to get the blessing of Narad Muni. And in today's verse, they are saying that Jnanam Tatvata Darshanam, please give us this Jnanam, this knowledge, which is Tatvata Darshanam, which is meant for the purpose of seeing the absolute truth. Like we were saying previously that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Vimodana pashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshusha, that those who are without transcendental knowledge, without knowledge of the Vedas, na anupashyati, they cannot see what is going on in this world, Pashyanapi na pashyati, it is said, even though they are seeing what is happening in the world, na pashyati, they still cannot understand or actually see what is happening, because the proper jnanam is missing. So therefore, jnanam tatvata darshanam means in this verse that jnanam, knowledge, is meant for seeing the absolute truth. It is meant to elevate us. So the Prachetas, they are talking to Narad Muni, and they are saying that please enlighten us in this transcendental knowledge so we can actually properly see and go back home, back to Godhead. So we were saying that due to kamatmakam, the fruitive mentality or the mentality of enjoying things in this material world, people become blinded. When we are engaged in materialistic activities, then these kind of activities, it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they pierce our heart and we are not able to properly see what is going on. And that's what the Prachetas were saying in the last verse. Tat kriheshu prasaktanam. Because we are so prasaktanam, so attached, prayasak shapitam bravo, we almost forgot the instructions on the transcendental subject we received. So kamatmakam yeda shedita bandha, when our mind has the desire for material success, to become materially elevated, then sometimes it happens that we become blinded by this desire, and we forget actually that the most important thing in spirit is our spiritual life. So the Prachetas, they are putting themselves in this position, and they are begging Narad Muni that he will enlighten them with transcendental knowledge. So we know that when the materialistic activities, when we are too much engaged in them and we become blind, then it is very difficult to advance. And even great sages, sometimes they fall to this. Even like it is said, Lord Brahma, he became bewildered, and Lord Shiva and many others. Or we said that Narad Muni also one time, he wanted to see the Maya energy of the Lord. And now we come back to the story, that he wanted to see what is Maya like. And then Krishna said, better not ask this question, because that will give trouble to you. And then Narad Muni said, I know, I want to see this kind of energy of yours. So then Krishna, he was leaning to a tree, and he was saying to Narad Muni, okay, this answer will take some time, and you can get some water for me. So then Narad Muni, he went to the river while Krishna was sitting under the tree and waiting for Narad Muni. And Narad Muni went, and he was just about to fetch the water from the river. And at that time a man appeared, and he said to Narad Muni, how? Because Narad Muni wanted to drink with his hands. And then the man said, please don't drink in this awkward way. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's what I heard the story. Yeah. It seems like, yeah, okay. But yeah, yeah. So I don't know, that's how I heard the story. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yes, so he went and he wanted to, yeah, that's what I heard, because I have this detail in mind that he was about to drink with his hands, and then at that time a man appeared, and because he forgot, that time already the energy of Maya was working, and the energy of Maya is always, because Krishna wanted to show him what is the energy of Maya. So the Maya energy has two types of energies. One is the Avranatmika Shakti, the bewildering energy of Maya, and one is the Prakshepa Atmika Shakti, the distracting energy of Maya. So that time Narad Muni already forgot that he had to please the Lord. He was thinking already about himself. So that's what I heard in the story. I don't know if it's correct, but he was taking the water with his hands and he wanted to drink. So then when he was about to drink, that time a man appeared, and that man actually said, don't drink in this awkward way, you better go and come with me home and I will give you some water. And then Narad Muni came there, and he was at the home of this man, and the man actually said, now when Narad Muni was there, he wanted to feed Narad Muni actually. And then he said, I will go and get some... Sorry. Should we continue or yeah? So then Narad Muni, he was there, and the man went to get some food because he wanted to give a nice food to Narad Muni. And then when the man was away, the daughter was taking care of Narad Muni. And that time suddenly Narad Muni fell in love with the daughter, and he forgot completely that the Lord Krishna, he was still waiting for the water, and he was now in love with this girl. And after the man came back, he saw that these Narad Muni and the girl, they were attracted to each other, and then they married, and many years passed, and Narad Muni had completely forgotten that actually Lord Krishna was still waiting, for the water. So many years were gone, and Krishna was still waiting, but Narad Muni was only considering about himself, So then he was actually engaged in household life, and many activities happened, and he forgot completely about the Lord. And then after so many years, one time it happened, he had also 2 children, and the children, they were outside playing in the river, and suddenly they fell in the water, and they were screaming, and Narad Muni, he went outside, and the wife also, and the wife immediately wanted to save the children, and at that time she also fell in the water, and then Narad Muni wanted to save both his wife and children, and it was not possible. He also fell in the water and was drowned. And that time when he was just drowning, he remembered suddenly the Lord in his distress. So then suddenly the whole situation changed, and he was standing again in front of Lord Krishna, and he remembered that Krishna actually was still waiting for the water. So when we are sometimes thinking about ourselves or engage in materialistic activities because we want to be material successful, then we forget about the Lord. And that's what actually happened to the Prachetas. It's not actually happened to the Prachetas because they are just taking the humble position. They are saying in the previous verse, Tat griheshu prasaktanam, that because we are so engaged in materialistic activities, therefore we forgot our spiritual life. But actually in previous verses it was explained that the Prachetas, even though they were in household life, they were developing their spiritual consciousness. So they are just taking the humble position and telling Narad Muni that we are so fallen and we need this transcendental knowledge. So that's how the Prachetas are actually acting. So the transcendental knowledge is actually the way to get out from this material situation. So I don't know if any questions or comments?
To understand the spiritual knowledge.
Yeah.
Also, found this story about Narada Muni. It's the same story, but it's written there that Narada Muni, when Krishna asked him to take water, he went to the village, and there was a very hard.
Okay.
Because of the heat, he was also
Oh.
to drink something.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that he just went to some house, to the river, and in this house he
So he didn't.
wanted to ask for water,
Okay.
and beside one dish would go open the door.
Okay.
Narada Muni was stuck, and he was something happened with him.
Yeah.
And he just asked. It's written here. He straight asked, "May I marry you?"
Okay.
And everything started.
Yeah. Yes. So the main point, because he wanted to see Maya, that's why he actually forgot. He was still. Now Krishna was waiting for the water, but he was completely forgetting that actually, and he was thinking about himself. So that is what the Pachetas were explaining in the last verse, that when we are too much engaged in these materialistic activities, we forget about our spiritual life. But when we take the humble position and ask, when sadhus come for their blessing, then the sadhus, jnana dipena basvata, they can enlighten us with the torchlight of knowledge. They can again give us vision. And in Kali Yuga it is said, kalau nashta trisham, that people have lost their vision, they cannot see properly. The only thing they see is aharanitra bhaya maitunam cha, how to actually fulfill the demands of the body. But they are forgetting about the spiritual soul. Just like Prabhupada always gives this, you probably know this example with the old lady who had a golden cage and a bird inside, and she was always polishing the golden cage because she was very attached to the cage, to the gold, Just like we are attached to the body, we always polish the body, we want to make the body very beautiful, we don't want to grow old. When we get wrinkles, we want to cover them. We don't want to lose our hair. We are always concerned about the body. So similarly, this old lady, she was also concerned about this cage of the bird. And one day, the bird just fell down and died, So the present civilization is simply concerned about the body. When we go to the university, we study biology, physics, chemistry. We study so many material topics, but we don't discuss the science of the soul. You know, when Prabhupada, he went to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and he asked the faculty members there, where's the department which studies the science of the soul? So that is actually what the sadhus are giving us. They are giving us this transcendental knowledge so we can see properly that the aim of life is Svatagatam hi Vishnum, to actually gain the lotus feet of the Lord. Yes.
Okay, I have a question to the story of Narada. What was the end of the story? What Narada was, Narada forgot Vishnu, and then what was?
And then at the end of the story, Narad Muni, he was actually, suddenly he was again standing in front of Lord Krishna, and he was remembering that actually Lord Krishna was still waiting for the water. This was just imaginary, that was just created by the illusory energy. Yes.
Yes, I don't understand. There is also nice ending of the story. I don't remember the details, but there was something about flute. Did you mention this?
Flute?
Flute. There's, I can read it because it's
Okay.
one of the paragraphs. So it's, after a while, the couple settled down to a life of family peace. After a while, children began to arrive. Narada became a very animated household. Somebody was always being bathed or dressed. There were meals to get and people to be provided for. And all these things were filled up their lives. Narada and his wife became engrossed in their private little world, quietly building their dreams. Years passed. The children grew up, went to school, got married. In time, grandchildren arrived. Narada became the patriarch of a great family, respected by the whole village. His land stretched to the horizon. He and his wife would look at each other fondly and say, "Don't you think being grandparents is the greatest thing on earth?" Then a flood came. It's an interesting moment. The village fields became a raging river, and before Narada's helpless eyes, everything that he loved and lived for, his lands, his cattle, his house, but especially his beloved wife and all the children and grandchildren were swept away. Of all the village, only he remained. A flood came and took everything. And he was trying to save them from all these calamities, but was not successful. Unable to watch the destruction, Narada fell to his knees and cried for help from the very depths of his heart. "Krishna, Krishna." At once, the raging floods disappeared, and this was Sri Krishna, standing casually on the fields where they had walked what seemed to be so many years before. "Narada," the Lord asked gently, "where is my glass of water?" The story is explained about in the end the flood came, took everything, and then Krishna appeared and said, "Where is my glass of water?"
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Huh? Yes. Okay. Sorry.
I will open again this verse. Yeah, in this verse it said that Prachetas, they were not interested in material benefit because they enjoyed all this sufficiently, nor did they want fulfillment of their material desires. They were simply interested in crossing the ocean of nescience. It's sound quite simple, like, okay, yeah, we get spiritual knowledge, and we realized that we meant for spiritual enlightenment, we meant to go back to Krishna, to cross the ocean of material existence. But it happens many times, and even in life of devotees, that Maya somehow or other, like you mentioned about these two energies, Avaranatmika and Prakshipatmika. Avaranatmika is what is covering,
No, avanamika is covering exactly.
Yeah, Pakshapadmika is
Distracting.
distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's like happening that many times that we practice, but these energies of Maya always testing us, and even we understood about that there is a goal of life, we have to go back home, but still this energy every time, like we know that they come, and sometimes we don't have a time to read Prabhupada books. We don't, or we, especially here in Switzerland, here so much possibilities for enjoyment, good food, even at Prasad, and nice weather, nice nature, and when we enjoy this a lot, we can forget about importance of spiritual practice. We can think that I'm happy, like everyone in this world think I'm happy, I'm good. We don't need something, wake up early, chant our nice rounds, open Prabhupada books, focus on them, try to understand and try to apply in life, and what is your solution? How you managed to do this, and how was
I
it?
didn't.
And what's
just some blessing that I.
But still, maybe some advices how we can just try to not to be carried away by these energies of Maya, but try to be focused on Krishna and maintain this focus.
I mean, like it is said that the Avratam Jnanam Etena, that Maya always covers our knowledge. So Gogovinda Swami, he was saying, this is the worst day in my life when I don't have the opportunity to listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because it is said that Krishne Dame Swadamo Bhagate Jnana Dibisaha Kalau Nashtatrasham Esha Purana Kodinudita. In this Kali Yuga, Maya is even more strong. It covers us even more. It wants us to be distracted even more from our spiritual aim of life. And therefore in Kali Yuga there is Purana Kodinudita. This Srimad Bhagavatam has arisen just like the sun. And it actually helps us to actually properly see. Like here the Prachetas, they were saying, Jnanam Tatvartha Darshanam. This Jnanam, this knowledge, Tattva, the absolute truth, Artha, for the purpose, Darshanam, to see. So Jnanam is actually meant that we actually always remain or have a proper vision in life, that we know that the goal of life is spiritual elevation, that we do not forget this. This is the purpose of Jnanam. In India there are Shat Darshanas, there are 6 kind of philosophies. But the aim of all the philosophies is Vedaisya Savai Aham Eva Vedyo, that we always go towards the goal of life, which is to understand Krishna. So to have finally his darshan, So Jnanam is meant for this purpose. But to actually, that the Jnanam becomes alive, we have to have sadhu sangha. Because alone, Maya will attack us very strongly. It is like said, the example, if you have one stick, it's easily to break it, But if you have many sticks together, then you cannot break it so easily. You understand? Like many sticks together is more difficult. So when we remain in the association of devotees, then it is more difficult for Maya to bring us down, because devotees can protect us. We may be very much elevated or even have a lot of knowledge, but Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidvamsam Abhikashati, that Balavan Indriya Gramo, the Indriyas, the senses, Balavan, they are so powerful that Vidvamsam Abhikashati, even a Vidvamsam, a learned man who has understood the Vedas, who has understood the purpose of life, even he, Abhikashati, he will be agitated by the power of Maya. So therefore, Prabhupada also said in the end of his life that Karanam Gunasangosya, our life is going on in a way how we associate with the modes of nature. But when we associate with the sadhus, with saintly people, with devotees, then always our life is going in the right direction and the knowledge remains alive. Yes. So I don't know if this... Okay. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
home, and then he was somehow took sure